Hello.
Sorry. I thought it was like just enough time that you weren't starting yet, so I was like, oh, let me say something.
Do you want to say it before I start?
No, go ahead.
Okay.
Sorry, go ahead.
Everyone, you already know what's going on. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Talking Games with Kellie and Andrew. I'm Andrew.
And I am Kellie, and I am Rusty, as we've heard.
Yeah, we have been on hiatus. There's a lot of life happening. And in order to figure that out, we decided to take some breather room, kind of reevaluate, decide how we wanted to do things. But we knew we wanted to come back for y'all in the very near future because of the summer game event season for video games, as well as the launch of a certain video game console. It's the Xbox ROG Ally.
Wow, what a great name.
Yeah, Kellie's been
Great
so
name.
excited for the Xbox ROG Ally.
Yeah, I think about it all the time.
Do you know what ROG stands for?
No,
Republic of Gamers.
I don't want to live there. I don't want to live there.
I own a ROG laptop, and every time I turn it on, it goes and makes like this crazy animation, and it says Republic of Gamers, and I'm like, please don't make me feel shame about owning this thing.
That is kind of shameful. I won't. I get it.
Yeah, but we took a little break, and we decided we were going to come back for this summer game event, and then we're going to figure out our new schedule, figure out what makes sense for us. We're going to take a little breather, but we needed to talk about this stuff, so we decided in the interim to do a nice meaty episode. What did I call it by accident? Harsh.
A harsh, meaty, quarter pounder.
Ew. ROG?
ROG.
Republic of Gamers burger.
We here in the Republic of Gamers believe in big, fat, juicy burgers.
Do you think we could write the national anthem for the Republic of Gamers?
I think we could, but I think I would take mental damage from doing that.
Okay.
Psychic damage, if you will.
A lot has happened since we've been away. This morning, I looked at our sheet. I had like a list of news, and it was a truly staggering amount of things that, like, I was trying to decide what we talked about. It was not easy to make that decision. There's so much to talk about. Didn't even include the Elden Ring movie on this thing.
Oh my God.
What do you even say?
What do you even say?
Good news for everybody. There's no movie news besides the fact that I just told you about the Elden Ring movie, but you can ignore that.
Wow.
This is a gamer one. This is our Republic.
This is for we're serving our Republic. We're serving our population of the Republic of Gamers. Our ROG. Not the Republic of Cinephiles, which, by the way, I feel is a terrible name for people who like movies. But
Republic of Cinephiles? Oh, Cinephile.
No, just Cinephile. Like,
Cinephile sounds like something you don't want to be.
Yeah, it's like, let's call it something else. I don't know.
What are we?
The Republic of Gamers.
Oh, I guess we don't have to be gamer files.
We're like congressmen of the Republic of Gamers.
Yeah, me and Kellie are your unelected officials. We chose this.
If you're listening, you have elected us.
Yes, and we, as your representatives, promise that we will go to Rockstar and demand answers for the delay of Grand Theft Auto 6. We won't ask very intensely, though, because after the delay, they did give a May 26th, 2026 release date. And that included a nice trailer that showed the game. It was definitely further along than when we saw it last time. It looked much more like a video game and less like it still was not pure gameplay. They said it was half and half, but all of the quote unquote gameplay had like camera angles that you wouldn't see in normal gameplay. So it feels a little inaccurate. But hey, it's coming out May 26th, which I'm sure disappointed some people. This actually was announced before May 26th, 2025, So at the time of the reveal, it was over a year out. But now, hey, it's June 15th. That's not even, 11 months? That's like a week.
The older you get, the faster time passes.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody just get really old really fast.
Yes.
And then it'll be out before you know it.
I already feel that way, and I'm not particularly old yet. Like, I feel like May 26th, 2026, I'm like, that will be here in no time whatsoever.
It will, and it will.
So, I don't know. It's definitely, I don't care. I mean, it's going to be the biggest gaming release in history so far. I feel like pushing it ultimately 5 months is so good. Take the time.
Yeah, it's also like, it does make sense to be a summer game, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, I guess I think it was, I don't know. I don't know if we should have been surprised by this. You're right. It's such a huge release, and I feel Rockstar has always been sort of touch and go with their release dates. But yeah, I liked the trailer that they showed us. I thought it was a good way to like, I mean, we kind of know these characters already, but I feel like, I don't know. It just is, it was good at not necessarily creating hype, but extending the hype. I also just feel like this is so, like, this game is so big. I'm like, I hope that it lives up to the hype, because it's like, imagine it doesn't. That would be crazy. Truly, truly crazy.
It's kind of funny because, like, as we'll talk about later, 2026 is looking meaty. It's looking harsh, as I like to say.
It's looking harsh, yeah.
And, like, from the general perspective, if GTA 6 came out and was bad or just disappointing, it'd be like a tragedy, a massive problem. But for me, I'm like, I got a bunch to play. I'll be busy. Yeah. I don't care if GTA 6 is bad. So
yeah.
I don't know. I'm sure we'll talk about it early next year. I'm sure they'll go crazy with all of the marketing.
Yeah. Well, we're actually invited to Rockstar as congressmen of the Republic of Gamers. We've actually been invited to Rockstar to get early access.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just kidding. That's not true. We did get another release date announcement.
You're going to say we got another invite as congressman.
Can you imagine? Wow, we really blew up over the break. Ghost of Yotei, the sequel to Ghost of Tsushima, it got a release date of October 2nd, 2025. That'll be here before you know it. Not to beat the dead horse, but that will be here before you know it.
I'm really glad that this one, I mean, I didn't think it would ever get delayed because it was revealed pretty close to release date in the grand scheme of things, but October's, well, we'll talk about it later. October's really scary now if you're a gamer. Like, it
was already scary because it's the scariest month of the year.
Yeah, and now it's full of games, which is even scarier because I hate those. No, October's a really, really packed month. I'm going to do an October recap. I just decided at the end of this podcast, I'm going to talk about all the games that I want to play in October, and I'm going to throw up. But we're going to find out more about this game. They're doing a state of play in July just for Ghost of Yotei. I don't really care. I guess I'm just already playing it. Is that marketing for people who are not sold?
Maybe.
But is somebody who's not sold going to watch a state of play about a game?
I think it's probably just to get more in depth with gameplay because we haven't really seen very much of that. So
yeah.
But you're right. I think people who are going to play this game are going to get it regardless because Ghost of Tsushima is so big. But I just, I don't know necessarily that this marketing is for us.
Yeah, they announced it and we're like, okay, we'll buy it. Like, they didn't have to say anything and we were fully on board. So I'm excited to find out more, but I'm not even certain I'll watch that presentation when it happens. Little bit of bad news for your wallet. Well, not yours, Kelly, because I know you're not going to be purchasing this, but Microsoft raised the price of the Xbox console. Obviously, last time we had an episode was things were a little uncertain Last time there was an episode, we didn't even know when the Switch 2 pre-orders were going to happen because the U.S. government landscape, not the government of gamers, not that one. It was very, very tumultuous, which I would say it still is. But the finance side has like at least taken a small breath. The explosion that was promised is more of just like a small
spurt.
A small fire.
A spurt.
Yes. There's some spurting happening still for sure, but Xbox in response to the spurt decided
Let's not say spurt anymore.
They decided they're raising the price of the Xbox Series X by $100. So the $500 premium console will now be a $600 premium console. They also raised the price of a lot of other accessories and such, and they confirmed that starting this holiday, their major titles are going to be $80, which we found out their first $80 game during their Xbox showcase, and we'll talk about that later. We'll talk about the game, and then we'll talk about the price. Same thing as like the Mario Kart situation, but Xbox has now fully entered that what do you call it, era of expensive games. I think it's really surprising to me because PlayStation is not doing it yet. And Ghost of Yotei is 70 and not 80. So the waters are as muddy as the government is spurty.
Oh. Glad we brought that back.
Oh gosh. It just sounded like a car just farted outside.
That sounded like some spurting going on.
That car was spurting outside. Okay, sorry. Anyway, Kelly, are you excited to buy an Xbox Series X for $600?
That's, I think the console issue is significant, but it's not like what mainly I find problem with. The games, that's absurd. Paying almost $100 for, like, with tax for a video game, I think is not correct. Especially, like, we don't have to, we'll talk about it later, like you said, but it's like, it just feels gross. Especially like with the way the industry has been the past couple of years with this sort of shift from like a small, like, not that video games were ever necessarily small, but they become so entrenched in like buyout groups and like mergers and like these huge conglomerates just like eating up little studios, just getting absolutely destroyed, like creating this sort of monopoly, like and just selling games for $80 for, like I said, almost $100. It's like, it just feels gross. It feels a little bit like, people like these people, thousands of devs getting laid off constantly. And we want you to pay more money for a product that's probably that might be less quality. I don't know. It doesn't feel good to me. So that I have more issue with that than the consoles, because consoles I think is a little bit more, not as necessarily understandable, but it's like things become more expensive to produce because of the technology that goes into them. I understand that. The Xbox, whatever, like they're not making improvements to the console. They're just raising the price, which is a problem. But I also think the writing was kind of on the wall for this. If you live in the U.S., or you don't even have to live here to understand the current situation, but things have been getting more and more expensive, I don't know, for the past like 10 years probably. So it does not shock that this is happening. It just is very disappointing.
Yeah.
And I think it is interesting that PlayStation has not bought into this yet, but we will see how 2026 goes, because I fear they will turn table very quickly.
Yeah.
On that.
It's just it's funny because like with the Nintendo situation, I was very much a trooper for like, stop complaining about the console price, which sounds, I'm not just like a Nintendo shill. I'm just of the mind that if you're buying a video game console day one and you're going to use it for 8 years, $450 is not crazy for a thing I use for 8 years. I bought my Nintendo Switch for $300 and I used it for 8 years. That's a crazy value proposition. I've spent thousands of hours on that thing. $450 is not crazy. So the concept of raising a price from 500 to 600 for a thing you're going to spend thousands of hours on over the course of years, not crazy. However, Xbox is doing very little to prove to you that you'll be spending thousands of hours on it. And like, it's just not, I mean, you kind of hit it. They're not doing anything to raise the value.
Right.
In fact, it's reducing the value because the Xbox next thing, I'm not going to even try to guess the name because it's going to be something really bad, is going to be out in 2 years and a half, 2.5 years. There's going to be a new Xbox almost for sure in 2027. Why would you pay $600? Why would you pay an extra $100 to get the one that's out now? Why not just wait?
Yeah.
It seems like really bad timing to me.
Yeah.
Which maybe that's PlayStation's thing. Maybe they're just like, PlayStation 6 is soon. We're so rich. Let's just rake them over the coals next time.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm like scared to see what those next consoles are going to cost in 2 years.
I don't even know if I'll want
if the
one.
world still exists.
Okay, well,
sorry.
It's okay.
Sorry, it got kind of dark there. It got dark, like the way it gets dark when you go to Silent Hill and it's foggy and scary. Coincidentally, which is the topic of our next story, which is that Konami announced that Bloober Team was working on the next Silent Hill remake, which will be the first Silent Hill game, as we found out. So they're remaking Silent Hill 1 after the success of their Silent Hill 2 remake.
It's weird to make them in this order, but
I'm not shocked. Silent Hill 2 is the standout in the series. It is the best game in the series. It's one of the best games ever made, in my humble opinion, my humble onion. But I do think it's interesting that they're remaking the first one. I think it's going to be a really tough act to follow the second one, just on the very nature of the first one being, in my opinion, like story-wise, significantly less quality than the second one.
But I do think that gives it more room to make something special.
I agree.
If they handle it well.
Yes. And I think Bloober Team did such a great job with 2 that I have more trust that the first one will be maybe improved upon. My only hope is that this continues and they get to remake 3 because I love 3.
Well, you and I talked about this off air. 3's a sequel to 1. And obviously that sounds like a given, but 2 has like no connection to 1 basically. And 3 is a direct sequel to 1. So I do think it probably makes sense for them to be like remake 1 and then more closely tie it to 3 if these keep going. Yeah. Which seems, I guess there's a chance that Silent Hill 2 did so well because of the name and Silent Hill 1 will not do as well. But I feel like the brand is kind of on a resurgence. I think the Silent Hill 1 remake is probably going to do pretty well.
Yes. I feel like the only concern, not necessarily concern, but the only thing that I would think is that people who maybe aren't as familiar with Silent Hill 2 or Silent Hill as the series would, and only played that remake, which I'm sure there's more people than we think that have only done that. Then they go back and they play this one remake that's going to be coming out and they're like, this is not what I expected. Yeah. There's no like Pyramid Head or sorry, I guess that's kind of spoilery, even though it's like a 30-year-old game.
You can spoil that the thing from 2 is not in 1. Also, like it's because Pyramid Head's not in 3, right? They didn't start bringing him back till later.
Yeah, he was like, it's interesting because 2 is really focused on James and his mental state, and that was the way Silent Hill like manifested as sort of a mental prison. Whereas the first game and third game by extension is a lot more about the cult aspect of the town. So I think that will be interesting to kind of not go back, but to go to that and have the audience still stay engaged. I think the enemy design is good. I'm interested to see what Bloober Team does with the enemy design in 1, with the characters. Obviously, we saw the changes they made to the characters in 2 from the original. And 1 is obviously even older, so the models are worse. I'm just interested to see how they're going to improve upon the first one.
Yeah. I'm most excited to see like the Lisa plot.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
that plot is like oddly chilling for a PlayStation 1 game. Like obviously the whole game's like a little spooky, but like the Lisa plot, like I watched the cutscene, which I will not say specifics, but like basically the crescendo of her narrative, shall we say.
Yes.
There's just such it's like a really upsetting and chilling cutscene. And it's PS1 graphics. And I feel like I'm kind of scared to see that remade. Like, it's going to be really intense.
Yes. I think it's going to be very interesting, which is why I think 3 would be also very interesting, because it's just, it really leans into that similarly. So I would be interested. And I'd be interested to see 4 too. I mean, people really dog on 4, but there is something about it being so different setting wise.
Yeah.
But we'll see. I mean, I'm definitely putting the cart ahead of the horse here, but
yeah, I don't think we should put too much, because like I don't think a 3 remake will happen unless 1 is also successful. So yeah, I think we should kind of wait and see how that turns out, because it doesn't have that Silent Hill 2 hype.
Maybe they'll add Pyramid Head, just because they know everybody loves to see that big shirtless Pyramid Head man.
I do think that they have a little too much respect for like the original vision, just based on how
I think Konami would be like, "Can you put Pyramid Head in?"
And
they'd be like, "I don't think so."
What I'll say is, I feel like we'll find out later this year. If we see Pyramid Head later this year in another game, then it's probably going to happen. But if we don't, then we might actually be spared.
I see.
Okay, so that was not even the summer game events. That was all just other stuff. Now we have the summer game events, and this year was really interesting. I feel like the past few years, there's been a lot of random events that kind of came out of the blue and did pretty well, and Xbox has typically kind of been I would say the forerunner as far as like quality announcements. But this year, somebody gave them a run for their money, and I think based on recent history, nobody at this show would have bet that. I mean, tell me if I'm wrong. Would you have bet money on Sony State of Play being not bad?
No.
I think, overall thought, the PlayStation side of the PlayStation State of Play was unimpressive. PlayStation Studios didn't do much. PlayStation themselves is not doing a lot. But as a constituent and a representative of the Republic of Gamers, I do think that this show was really good. Like, shockingly good. Like, I was like fully engaged for an entire 50-minute runtime.
Yes.
Except like maybe a couple minutes at the end, but we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, it was a significant standout.
Yeah. So I have the highlights. I don't have everything because they talked about a lot, and I know some of it we're not going to have a lot to say about, so I kind of just focus on the things I think we have some stuff to say about. So I'll jump right in. One of the big announcements that shocked me, and this came right after Metal Gear Solid trailer, was Bloodstained: The Scarlet Engagement. If you remember, Bloodstained was essentially a new Castlevania game. It was kickstarted many years ago, but the original creator of Castlevania Symphony of the Night, Koji Igarashi, made this game with kickstarting money. It was pretty well received. I loved it. I thought it was a really, really good Metroidvania game. And now it's getting a sequel. It's funny because the trailer, like, coming right after a Konami game and a showcase, I was like, is this a new Castlevania? And then it was like Bloodstained. I'm like, yes is the answer. I think it looks really cool. It looks like a really interesting step for that series. A series I didn't expect to be a series. I thought that was just going to be a one and done, but I guess it really did really well. So they were able to use that, to make a sequel. And I am kind of over the moon for it. I think it's going to be probably fantastic. If it's anything like their first game, it's going to be really good, and I'm excited to play it. But a pretty big shock for me. I really didn't expect to see that here. And that kind of set the tone for a lot of what was in this show.
Yeah. I don't have as much context going into it, as much familiarity with the IP or anything like that. So, but I'm very excited that this is sort of carrying the torch, and like you said, it did set the tone. Like this being an announced trailer at the beginning, towards the start of the show was really cool. I liked that they showed gameplay. I think the designs are really cool. You can tell there's a lot of, and I don't know if this is like me personally projecting. I've been playing a lot of, and I know you also have been playing a FromSoft game, which we will talk about later, but yeah. I've been playing Elden Ring again, and I just feel like there's so much, like, you can really feel the influence everywhere. Like, I feel like almost every game that we saw at this state of play, at future events that we will also talk about on this episode, I feel like the influence is everywhere. And I think Elden Ring being such a breakout success for FromSoft, even though FromSoft has been tried and tested for years now, Elden Ring being as big as it is, I think, I don't know, it's just interesting to see the influence sort of everywhere. And obviously this game, like, I don't want to say that because this game has its own DNA, and I don't mean to imply that like every single game is trying to be like that, but I just think it's neat.
Yeah, I mean, I think it feels similar to like around 2021 when I feel like there was a lot of Breath of the Wild. There's a lot of clear Breath of the Wild inspiration in games. And I feel like right now is about when we're going to start seeing a lot of Elden Ring inspiration in a lot of games. Because, a game comes out, it's really successful. It takes a few years to actually implement influence. So I think we're going to be seeing a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I would also argue that like Elden Ring took a lot of inspiration from Breath of the Wild. I mean, I feel like
for sure, it's the
everything
steps.
Just sort of builds on itself.
What do you think the next step is going to be on that path
after Elden Ring?
Yeah, going from Breath of the Wild to Elden Ring. What's the next stepping stone? That's a terrifying concept.
I don't know. I feel like Baldur's Gate 3 is probably going to be a big one. I think a lot of companies are going to lean into like more heavy RPG elements because of that success. I don't think they're obviously going to be doing like turn-based D&D, but I think that game really blew up in a way that I don't think Larian was expecting, and I don't necessarily think Wizards of the Coast was expecting. So I'd be interested to see the progression from there. It's not, I mean, I might be wrong. I might be totally wrong, and we just skip over that entirely, but that's just kind of my I'm just trying to think of like the best-selling games of like the past 5 years. And that one just sticks out to me because it's just so different from any big popular game that's come out, like Elden Ring, like, I don't know, Call of Duty, whatever.
Yeah.
But another game that was announced at the State of Play was the 007 First Light James Bond game. This is sort of this trailer was very, here's James Bond, you know him. And it's like, I don't know this James Bond though. He's younger than James Bond usually is. Did we get a date for that? I think it was just a wish list now, right?
It's 2026.
Okay, 2026. So. And they're showing, I don't know. I think it's funny that like, and I don't know why I equate them in my head, but I think it's funny that Xbox had their big Indiana Jones game, and now PlayStation has this big James Bond game. It's like these two huge movie IPs. I just think that's interesting.
I mean, technically we've known about this game for a long time. I guess I didn't fully realize how long we've known about it, because IO Interactive, well, the game was technically announced during that properly announced during that Nintendo Direct, which I forgot about till like just now. Remember, like, they talked about how Hitman was coming to the Nintendo Switch 2, and then right after they were like, also IO Interactive is making the new James Bond game, and they revealed it in like a nothing way. They were just like, we're doing it. And then this PlayStation show is where they like properly brought it up and showed it. The thing for me is I don't think this trailer really captured me, but Hitman is such like a hit, and
man,
it's such a hit, man. No, it's just such a good game that I feel like I'm kind of on board. I'll see what they got going here, and I'm ready to see the vision. But I'm not sold. I'm just ready to look at what else they show. You know, if it plays like a Hitman game, I'm probably gonna want to play it. So, it looks pretty. It looks pretty like graphically impressive, and I do think that the new James Bond is a cute enough dude. He's a nice looking little guy. I do think an origin story could be an interesting way to get people in, because I've literally consumed zero James Bond media in my life, which I know is not a super common experience, but I almost feel like an origin story makes it appealing to me for that reason.
Yeah. I feel like, to me personally, I don't know. Like, I'm not super captured by James Bond. Like, I don't think, like, he's not the most interesting character to me, but I think it's interesting that he's younger. I think that is a cool starting place. I don't love the model for this James Bond with Peace and Love. He looks a lot like Tom Holland to me, which just brings back really bad Uncharted live action feelings.
I just feel like he looks like a generic, like he could be any
He's
Hollywood
so
actor.
generic, which is like, that's kind of fine for James Bond. He is totally, being generic is like not an issue for that character. I don't know, something just isn't really clicking for me, and I think I'd be interested to see the gameplay, because I think this has the potential to be a really fun and cool game. I don't know. There's something about, I don't know. I'm hesitant. Yeah. I don't know why.
I will watch more, but I haven't seen anything that's making me want to buy it yet.
Yeah, that's how I feel too.
Game I do want to buy, Neo 3. That's right, Team Ninja is back. They've announced that Neo 2 is getting a sequel, and it's Neo 3. You can actually play this game now. There's a demo available on PlayStation if you're interested. But the full game is releasing in early 2026. I loved Wo Long, and I did love the gameplay of Stranger of Paradise Final Fantasy Origin. I haven't played Neo 1 or 2, but I think that the Team Ninja take on that sort of FromSoft style is really unique, and I'm glad that they do something a bit different. I really wasn't expecting this game to be announced, and it looks real good in my opinion. I'm kind of all on board here. I really want to play this. I think it looks really cool, and it's awesome that it's out in just a few months. Early 2026 is probably February at the latest, so absolutely sick. Great announcement.
Yeah, it looks good. I love when a game just has really clean design. Like, it's just very cohesive. It looks good. It's like you look at characters and you're like, ooh. Mm-hmm. Like the snake guy in this trailer was like, ooh. Like, it just feels good. So yeah, I'd be interested to see how this game plays, and I'm excited that the release date is so soon. Well, how do you say this word? Ivalice?
Ivalice, I think. Yeah.
So big announcement was the Final Fantasy Tactics Ivalice Chronicles game, which is out very soon. This is like a remake?
Yeah. There's remaster, I guess, because you can play with the original graphics at like a toggle.
There's like two different versions. Kind of a big deal, because this game has remained pretty much untouched for the past, 20 years. Mm-hmm. And it's out very soon. It's out September 30th. So
that's what shocked me, honestly.
I know, that is crazy. But like Andrew mentioned, there's like a toggle feature where you can play the original game, or you can play this sort of like remade version. Very cool. Very exciting. I was very hyped for this one. I love anything where they take like an old Final Fantasy title that has remained unloved for many years, and they do something new with it. Obviously, the biggest Final Fantasy remake is 7. That is significant, but it's nice to see that they're still like, oh yeah, we got our other guys working on this one.
I think it's better to not have every remake project be this massive, insane undertaking. And a lot of people, so there's been a lot of discussion about like why this took so long. And it's the Final Fantasy 16 team, so they were really busy is the answer. But I'm really compelled to play it, and I think that the new graphical style is really cool, because like usually I think softening pixel graphics can look tacky, but it almost has like a painterly style now. Like it looks almost like watercolory.
Like cell shaded almost.
Yes, because it's still clearly like designed based on pixel art, but there's like there's a heart to it. It's not just like polished over to look, simple. And if they wanted to do a pixel remake, they got that 2D HD team. I'm sure they could have used that, but they had a different vision in mind, and I'm really keen to see if this is a solid remake, and I very well might be playing this one if I have the time. That's September 30th is right before October, and again, not to hype it up too much, but I'm gonna list some October games at the end here and just express my fear. A re-reveal that we got was Capcom's new game Pragmata. This game was announced in 2020. It was shown during the PlayStation Showcase as a upcoming PS5 game. We didn't really know much about it, but it kept getting delayed and delayed and delayed and delayed and delayed. And now it got delayed for the last time, they promise. And we got a proper gameplay reveal. It's still not totally clear what's going on. You're a spaceman. There's a little lady on your back who I think is a robot. She like hacks into enemies and then you pew pew them. I'm compelled. It's Capcom. If it wasn't Capcom, I probably wouldn't care much. But the fact that it is Capcom makes me be like, well, they know what they're doing. And they've been on a really, really hot streak. So I will absolutely give this a hefty look when it comes time.
Yeah. She kept reminding me of Maria from Sonic. Shadow's good buddy Maria.
Yeah.
Just because she's a little blonde girl that wears blue in space.
Hey. Rude.
Nothing wrong with that. I just want Shadow the Hedgehog to show up, preferably voiced by Keanu Reeves. And I want him to be riding a motorcycle, and I want him to be dual-wielding pistols. And I think that's not a heavy ask. I think that's not a harsh ask.
Do you think that Capcom and Sega are one thing?
I think that they could have a beautiful marriage.
Okay.
And that's all I have to say about that. We talked a lot about Silent Hill earlier, but this State of Play also contained a release date for the new Silent Hill new title, Silent Hill F. It is out September 25th. So that is really, really soon. This game was announced 2 years ago? It was when that other game came out, the Answer.
A short message.
Answer.
You're thinking of Persona 3.
I am. It's not even called The Answer anymore, is it?
Episode I guess The Answer. Maybe just Episode I guess. I don't remember.
Well, anyway, so we got a release date trailer for this. Got some interesting looks at gameplay, I guess. I don't know if that's what you would call it. It's things that happen in the game to your character with the enemies. I don't know. I thought it would. This seems like really branching out for Silent Hill. Quite literally, it doesn't seem like it's even in Silent Hill anymore.
Mm-mm.
So I'm a little bit wary with this game. I don't necessarily know. I don't know that I trust a Silent Hill title right now that is not a remake. With peace and love to Konami. I mean, not really. I don't really give them any peace.
No, Konami has not re-earned our trust. They're on the path, but they haven't done it.
So I'm a little nervous about how it's going to play. Not play, how it's going, I don't know. I just don't feel great, but I don't feel bad necessarily. I'm kind of neutral on it. I think the enemy design's pretty cool in this, but it's also I don't know. I
just feel like A Short Message was bad, and that's the most recent original game in the series. Technically.
Yeah. I feel that this looks radically different from that, so it doesn't necessarily worry me as much, but I get what you're saying.
The other thing is it looks pretty, the trailer's not good. But I have to remind myself that the Silent Hill 2 trailers were pretty bad. Remember, we kind of dunked on the Silent Hill 2 trailers. We're oh, this game's going to suck.
Yeah, and the combat, I remember thinking the combat did not look good.
Right. And then the game was exceptional. So I think the Silent Hill trailer team might need a good whack in the head. I'm just going to wait on this one. I'm going to see what the general feelings are. I could see it going any direction. I could see it being absolutely incredible. I could see it being horrendous or anywhere in between. So I'm just going to wait it out and see what happens. It's so soon that it's like, I'm not going to think about it till it's here.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to seeing how they sort of adapt that Silent Hill, the feel of the town, I guess, for lack of a better way to describe it, to adapt that to like this new setting. I think that will be very interesting.
I feel like it's at least more Silent Hill-esque than the short message was. Like, short message felt like it had nothing to do with Silent Hill besides the fact that it was spooky.
Yeah, I don't know what they were doing with that. I'm not gonna lie to you. That felt like a little silly moment for them. They were just feeling silly.
And it was a weird free game. I don't care if it's free. If it's bad, I'm gonna call it bad.
Yeah.
Romeo is a Dead Man. New video game. That's what it's called. It's from Suda51 and Grasshopper. It's coming out 2026. We got a full reveal here. Brand new game, brand new IP. I think it looks really cool. I'm hoping, because the opening of the trailer was a really peculiar art style, and then it kind of transitioned to a little bit more of a traditional visual style. I'm kind of hoping that the game itself has like a lot of different styles going on. I think Suda likes to do that. I didn't expect to see Suda in this presentation. I feel like that was really the thing that locked it in. They're like, oh, PlayStation's here to talk about games. I do think it looks really fun, though. I think, and especially it being a new IP compels me, because like No More Heroes 3 looked really compelling, but I didn't want to play the first two games to get there. And I feel like this is a great way to hop in, new IP.
Grass hop in.
But I was really excited by this reveal. I think they did a great job with it.
Yeah, I felt the trailer was really like engaging. The music was really good.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's cool to see the sort of different design styles, and I think that will be apparent in the game. But yeah, I thought this was a really cool reveal. It's so fun when they have like stuff like this in their back pocket.
Mm-hmm.
Like I remember a couple years ago, maybe it was last year. It was at the Game Awards. The Game Award. The Game
yeah,
Awards.
It's Summer Games Fest and Game Award.
No, it's Summer Game Fest.
No, I'm saying it's now Summer Games Fest and Game Award.
Game Award, yes. When they revealed Okami,
mm-hmm.
that was crazy. And I feel like it's just fun when you have like big stuff like this in your back pocket that nobody's really expecting.
Yeah.
Very fun. Very fun. Hey, have you ever wanted to be a little guy surfing through the sand?
I don't know. I feel like I could enjoy a nice journey.
Oh, even if it's pathless?
Yeah.
Okay.
Abzu really thinking. I don't know. Sorry, I tried to integrate Abzu and it didn't work.
No, I mean, it was a good effort, I think.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. So we got a launch date trailer for Sword of the Sea, which is the game made by, obviously, as we were referencing, the team that made Abzu.
How many times do you want to say Abzu?
Is it Abzu or Abzu?
I think it's Abzu, but I don't think anybody's going to judge you if you say it a little different.
And Journey. This is the game where you are a little guy and you are going on a trip and you're traveling across many different worlds. We got a launch date trailer. This is coming out August 19th, which is like 2 months away, which is pretty wild. Yeah, pretty exciting. I mean, it's such a distinct style. You kind of know from the jump what you're getting into, but it's very beautiful.
I'm excited because it's free if you have PlayStation Plus, and I have that. So yeah,
that's pretty.
Probably be playing it for that reason.
Yeah.
PlayStation closed the show with a new PlayStation Studios game. Little confusing because usually you see the PlayStation Studios logo and then it is a game from a studio they own. Usually.
Yeah.
But that definition has been stretched lately. PlayStation Studios is working with Arc System Works, who you might know as the creators of BlazBlue or Guilty Gear or Dragon Ball Fighters. They're making a new 4v4 fighting game called Oh, I messed that up right on the important part.
You got it.
All right, I'll cut it out.
All right, cut that.
Cut. It's already cut. It's gone.
Yep. Clip.
Called Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls. That's right. They're making an anime Marvel fighting game. The trailer is bombastic. It is very Japanese. It is, dubbed in Japanese. It's not in English. I'm really excited by what PlayStation is sort of becoming, that they are closing their show on a PlayStation-funded fighting game. I just feel like we've been in such a live service pit for the past few years. It's been really hard to watch. Obviously, there's been a lot of good games. We've had more than enough to play. But from PlayStation, who used to be like the studio or the publisher for great single-player games, it has been such a downward trend. This is obviously a multiplayer game because it is a fighting game, but it is not live service schlock. This is a very clearly extremely high quality fighting game. Certainly fighting games are not the most generally appealing genre, but Dragon Ball FighterZ was an incredible success. It sold well over 15 million copies. That's not nothing. And I do think a game like that deserves a major spotlight, and they are giving it to them. And I think, as somebody who doesn't particularly care much about Marvel, I think this is a great angle to take. It's really unique. And I just thought it looked really pretty. I'm excited to see more, and it is coming out next year, 2026.
Yeah, it looks good. I mean, like I was saying earlier, it's just nice when a game is designed really well. It's very pleasing to the senses. I have a hard time with fighting games because it's very overstimulating for me personally. But
so do you think adding a fourth character to each team will help with that?
No. So I probably won't be playing this, but I do like I like the energy of the trailer. I think it's cool to see certain characters. Like, it's cool to see Storm. It's cool to see Miss Marvel. The only character I was very disappointed to see was Star-Lord, because I think that he's a flop. I think that he's a chop. I think that I'm sick of seeing him in Marvel properties with peace and love. But it was really cool seeing Hell Rider. I think that was really cool. He doesn't get enough love, probably because he's too cool for that.
Yeah,
but
he's too cool.
And Dr. Doom. I love Dr. Doom. Unfortunately, anyway, we don't have to get into it. I'm not really that big of a Marvel fan.
Never mind.
I feel like I'm just more familiar with that IP. Like, I'm not a fighting game person, so it's easier for me to talk about the Marvel of it all. You know?
Right. But it is funny to hear I'm not a Marvel fan, and then just you have so many opinions on the characters. I love it.
I know.
You're like a legacy fan. You used to like it, and you still have passion, but you don't care anymore.
Yeah. It just reminds me of being young, reminds me of being a kid. Wow, that's so sad. Anyway, I thought this trailer was really exciting, and I thought we got a cool little like inside look that was part of the show too, that I thought was cool.
It was a little, I don't know, I feel
it was a little long, but
yeah, that was not, I think this was a great show closer. Very, very cool idea. I think it was a little absurd to end on like a 10-minute dev diary in a show that was super fast paced, especially because the way they presented it made it seem like they actually had like a secret additional reveal, but then it was just interviews. And this game needs the interviews. Like, that 10-minute deep dive was essential for a lot of people who are interested in this game, but I do think maybe they should have just closed on the trailer and then posted that on YouTube separately.
Yeah, that's a good point. So, I see what you mean.
But it was still very cool to see them close on something like this and nothing live service,
Yeah.
Like, the show
definitely.
was again, the show's over. Wow. A really, really high-paced, highly compelling, something for everybody kind of show.
Yes, I agree.
And the energy just keeps up. The rest of the summer showcases are just as good. Right, Kelly? Right,
well,
Kelly? Right, Kelly?
Right. Right. If you like a very specific type of game that came out like 2 years ago called Atomic Farts. Just kidding. I'm sorry. Atomic Heart. You probably really like Summer Game Fest, which is the next event that we're going to be talking about, our yearly Summer Jeff excursion.
Summer Jeffs, yeah.
Because we get a Winter Jeff, too. This year's Summer Game Fest was interesting.
Yeah, that's a way to put it.
It started off with a lot from Mundfish, which is the studio behind Atomic Heart, which came out like last year, 2024 or 2023?
2023.
2023. So 2 years ago, we got a trailer for Atomic Heart 2. What can I say? There was a lot of things to look at. That's me putting it very diplomatically. I never played the first Atomic Heart. I just didn't have a ton of interest in it. I don't know. Andrew, you played it, didn't you? You talked about it on the show.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't finish it. I didn't hate it. It felt bad to play. Like the movement was really chunky and unpleasant.
Yeah.
So I keep talking. I got lots to say, but I guess there's a lot to this Mundfish story before I dive.
Yeah, I don't know. They had 2 other trailers at Summer Game Fest, if you can believe it. Sorry, I just clicked out of it. There was a game called Ill, which was probably the coolest of all their announcements. Very scary, gross, first-person horror. I don't even know how to describe this game. It looks very spooky, ooky action horror.
It looks terrifying.
So that was interesting. And then they had another trailer for the Cube. What is it? Cube? The Cube, I think it's just called.
Yeah, it's a multiplayer spinoff of Atomic Heart that has a whole lot of.
We will say diplomatically, these games very much understand that the current cultural moment, there's a lot of backlash. Some groups of the Republic of Gamers really would like to see the female form. I'm trying to word this in a way that is not
okay.
Inflaming.
How about I inflame it?
Okay, yeah.
The Summer Game Fest had so many shots of ladies' butts, crotches, and boobies to a degree.
A lot of boobs.
It was just like I felt that gaming had pretty comfortably moved past that. And I was wrong, apparently, in the sense that it really, truly disappointed me to see Jeff Keighley embrace that. And obviously, I think he just embraces the money. I think whoever is paying is what he's embracing. He doesn't really have as big of a cultural care about that kind of stuff, but it was very absurd just how much hypersexualization of women there was in the showcase.
Yeah, I feel like there has definitely been a cultural shift, and I don't want to put anything like crazy out there. I think if you exist in this world, you can probably feel the cultural shift happening. But I think that it's just very telling that you're right. It feels like there was some sort of momentum towards like gaming is an art. We will not stoop to such things. Even though everybody was secretly still stooping. I mean, if you consider what you're talking about, this sort of fan service element, it has always existed and it will always exist in games to some extent. But it's never so shameless. It felt very shameless in this show. Mm-hmm. Which, like, from my perspective, like I said, I think it's just very... It just really tracks, I think, with a lot of conversations that are happening in the gaming space right now. I also, like... I don't really know Mundfish Studios. I don't want to like put anything on them because I don't want to speak for an entire studio, but it's also kind of like okay, like we kind of see we saw what you were about in the first game, and we kind of are seeing what you're about now. Like, I don't necessarily trust you as a studio. Like, you're not building a great relationship with me personally, who like those kinds of things in games I don't really care about. Like, I don't necessarily want to see it, but it's not something I'm not excited when I see it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not titillated. But I guess I'm not the audience, so
it just feels kind of bad when like in like Atomic Heart 1 had the robot women, the 2 robot women that became very popular on certain portions of the internet.
Yeah.
But it wasn't
in the Republic of Gamers.
It wasn't like this obscenely sexual game. And it feels like they are like, oh, those women are why this game succeeded.
Yeah, they're kind of leaning in.
Which they might be right, because the gameplay did suck. So they might be right. But it's frustrating to see that like played out in such an intense way. So, but hopefully the game looks
ill.
You know, they should Mundfish showed 3 games, which is crazy. This is a nothing studio. They were not existent, and then they made Atomic Heart, which was really successful, and now they're like a publisher too. Like
I'm curious where they have the bandwidth to make this. And I know you're saying they publish, but like the Cube and Atomic Heart 2.
Yeah.
What's the bandwidth? Where's the funding coming from? What's going on here?
I mean, I don't want to delve into
right. We don't have to get into that.
There's
I'm just saying, like,
murky waters.
Something strange is happening.
The games are from Russia. But looks really good. Looks like
it looks
truly grotesque. It made me feel really gross, which is hard I feel like most horror trailers I kind of just like consume passively, but that one I was like, ooh.
I think what I liked about this trailer was that there was no fan service in it. And if there was, it would have been deeply, deeply disturbing.
I was going to say, it provided service to me in the sense that I was really upset. And that's what a horror game's supposed to do, right?
Did you feel ill, perhaps?
I did feel ill.
Did you feel strange, perhaps?
I did. I felt stranger than RGG.
Things? Oh, sorry.
Who you know as the creators of Like a Dragon or Yakuza. They revealed that game at the Game Awards, which was Project Century. It has been re-revealed. I mean, not really. It's been 6 months. It just got a new trailer. And now it has the title Stranger Than Heaven. And it appears there's some weird timeline stuff going on. Because last time we saw it was in 1914, and now it's in the 40s. I don't know if that means that they altered something that they had planned, or if there's some timeline shenanigans going on. But I'm very excited. I think this trailer did an incredible job of showing that they have something really cool in their back pocket that they are working really hard on. I'm excited to see this team be allowed to make something that isn't in the Yakuza universe. So kudos to them for such a good trailer, and I'm excited to see more, hopefully in the near future.
Yeah, this game looks really cool. I think the setting is just like amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And I, like you said, I do wonder if there's some timeline shenanigans because the original title was, or the working title was Project Century.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of like, is he going to be like back and forth? Or maybe they were just like, nah, don't even worry about that old stuff, man. We're in the 40s now.
Or he's just like really young in 1914 and then 30 years pass.
Yeah, we truly don't know. But the setting's really cool. I'm really excited to see more about this game. Yeah.
I feel like before we dive into the final story, because that is the final story of Summer Game Fest, I have 3 headlines here.
Yes.
We watched this show for 2 hours.
Yeah.
I am still trying to decide, but I think...
In person.
Me, Kelly, and friend of the show Cameron sat on my new couch and on my new TV watched this show, and I'm trying to decide if it was the worst game show I've seen. Not ever, because I used to watch like in the early 2010s. I watched like every E3 conference, including like Ubisoft and the really weird bad ones. But this might be the worst show I've seen this decade so far. It was truly bad. Truly.
Yeah, it was just... I think Jeff he's in a hard position because these big studios, they do their own shows.
Mm-hmm.
We have State of Play, we have Showcase, we have Directs. So by the time it gets to Summer Game Fest, he's like, I got what I got. Like, you've already seen all the big stuff. There's only so much that he can do. I think he leans really heavily on industry relationships that he has, which is not a bad thing, but it's also like those people also work with big studios. So it's like sometimes the big stuff that we see, we've already seen. Obviously, there was one big thing this show, which we hadn't really seen yet. I don't know if you're ready, if you wanted to talk more about Summer Game Fest or if you want me to just get into the big thing.
Get into it. It's more interesting than the show. It's just crazy that you can spend 2 hours and have one true reveal. Yeah,
it was disappointing to say the least. But I don't, I don't necessarily, I don't want to necessarily dog on it too hard because, like I said, I think Jeff and the team that runs Summer Game Fest, I think they are in kind of a difficult position, but I don't want to be like, oh, poor Jeff, like whatever.
He made a lot of money. I don't feel bad.
He makes a lot of money, and he does not really you're right. I don't think he's like this cultural critic of the moment. I don't think that he's thinking about the money.
Yeah.
Is the thing. Bless him. But he is our, the Republic of Gamers. I would say that he's like our chancellor maybe. Or the czar, or let me think of maybe like a custodian of some sort, or
like he's our janitor.
These are all C words. No, like custodian in a sense of like the keeper.
I don't like Jeff's a little problematic sometimes, but I don't think you should call him the C word, Kelly.
So actually, something really funny that happened at Summer Game Fest. As many of you may know, Resident Evil is celebrating its 30th anniversary next year. It was 96, right? 2026. So next year, they're celebrating their 30th anniversary of the first game coming out. So we got this interesting little it's been 30 years. And Lady Dimitrescu,
tall lady.
I'm Romanian, so I should, the big lady from Resident Evil Village. Her voice actor, her voice actor, who is an incredible voice actress, by the way. She also voiced Auron in Baldur's Gate 3, which is a crazy role. And she did so good. But anyway, she came out and she was like, thank you for celebrating with us. And then it was kind of like, oh, that's it. It was kind of like, oh, we'll tell you more about what's coming very soon. And it was like, okay. Heard. So everybody was kind of like, well, okay, no big deal. And then, of course, we had our one more thing at the end of the show, a Jeff classic, if you will. And it was indeed a reveal trailer for Resident Evil Requiem, which is the 9th Resident Evil main title in the series. It's coming next year, February 27th, which is so soon. So soon. This trailer didn't give a ton away. We are introduced to a new character who is a blonde woman.
Yes.
And that's pretty much all we got there. We did not see any old characters, we think.
She is the daughter of a character from Outbreak, which is a PS2 game that no one's played.
Yeah. There's so many external Resident Evil titles. It's very difficult to keep track of everybody. I think it's interesting. I'd be very interested to see. So we are seemingly going back to Raccoon City. And I think some characters that are really intrinsically tied to Raccoon City, Leon, Claire, Jill, and obviously Chris has been sort of the mainstay in these mainline titles. But I don't know, because it's set quite far into the future, so these characters will all be a little bit older. So we'll see what happens with that.
I like that I feel like we know so little. Like, we have so much to make us engaged. Like, I am so curious and excited to see more. But we don't really have that much. And they did announce it's first or third person. You pick. which I think is cool. I think that, that's kind of the direction they were headed. Like Resident Evil Village added a third-person mode to it.
Yep.
I hope there's like a suggestion of how to play it. like if there's a correct mode. I feel like I'll probably want to play first person if it's as scary as this seems. Like this seems like it might be really scary.
Yeah.
Which is kind of a nice shift. Because I feel like 7 started really freaky, but then kind of got bombastic. And I feel like 8 was never really that scary. I guess the opening area was kind of scary, but it was mostly kind of a spooky action game in my head. So I think
8 had variety of scariness.
It had that one really scary part.
Yeah, you've got like the village, you've got like the gothic horror of the castle, you've got like the sort of like gross horror of like the water area with the fish guy. And then you've got that really scary like, whoa, there's babies and dolls, like get me out of here.
Yeah.
So I think it had a nice variety of different types of horror, which is something that I really like about 8. But sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No. I think key thing I'll say is February 27th. Whoa. We didn't even know about this game, and now it's out in a few months.
I know, that's crazy. I also hope that we will hear, not soon, but maybe after this game comes out, maybe we will hear what the next step in the remake journey is, should they choose to take that step.
I think it's probably 5. I mean, 4 ended with them being like, 5 exists.
I would love to see 5 remade because I love Sheva. I think she's an incredible character. She is like Carlos in that they like appear in one game and then they're gone forever. And you're like, oh, they're so like they really stay in your head for a long. I mean, Carlos stayed in my head for a long time because, we talk about fan service, but it's like, oh my God, what a man. But that's also how it's like Sheva's just a great character. She's so beautiful. Anyway, sorry.
I decided I need to play 1. So the only 2 main series of games I haven't played are 1 and 6, which is funny. That's a funny pair to not have played. So I'm definitely going to play 1. I'm probably going to replay 5 because I played it when I was so much younger. I was like 12 or something when I played it. That's too young to be playing Resident Evil 5, isn't it? Anyway, and then I never played 6. And I feel like there's like an interesting narrative on 6 now where people are like, if you go in knowing what you're playing, it can be fun. But
I think 6 is, if you're a real Resident Evil head, if you care about the characters, you probably will enjoy it. But if you're more into the gameplay, you might hate it.
I'm gonna try it. I mean, I have it on PS5. I got it for like $2 or something once.
Yeah,
so.
I don't want to tell you how to feel. I think Resident Evil 6 is interesting. I think they were doing a lot. They were juggling a lot of plates, which maybe was not the move. But Leon's in it.
Mm-hmm.
Was that a spoiler?
He is the cover man.
I thought the cover was just the purple 6.
That was the original, but like now on all of the marketing, it's
okay,
like,
good.
It's Leon standing there with 5 other people who I cannot remember who they are.
Leon's in it. He's looking good, and that's really the most important thing to me.
Leon's the main character,
isn't it funny, right? Isn't it?
I mean, I know there's like multiple main characters because you're playing different campaigns, but I thought he was like the main one.
His story. I mean,
I guess I'll find out soon.
Yeah,
I think I'm gonna have to do what you did because you did a Resident Evil like journey in October a couple years ago. I might have to do something similar this October and play 1 and 5 and 6.
Yeah, and then you'll be like perfectly prepared for 9. Would you replay 7 and 8 again?
No.
Or 7 and 8.
No, it's too many Resident Evil games to play. I don't want to burn myself out before 9.
Also, I feel like 8 is quite long.
Yeah, and also like that game really did a good job of burning itself into my memory. So I'm like, I don't really feel the need to return.
Yeah. I think it's funny how we just had a very long discussion about like like the shameless pandering of fan service in games, and I'm over here like, plus Leon looks really good. Like,
well, that's what 6 was. 6 was fan service, and I think that's why it's divisive, right? I'll find out when I play it.
Yeah, I think it would be.
I'll find out.
Yes.
The final show of the summer stretch. Well, I shouldn't say the final show because there is a chance Nintendo's gonna to throw its hat in the ring, throw its Mario cap in the ring in the next days or weeks. But Xbox finished us up. They showed us a nice little showcase. Like I said, they're usually like the lead on these, I think. I feel like they usually have the best show, but I don't think that was the case here. It was certainly better than the Jeff Awards, but it was not as good as it traditionally is, which disappointed me. But they did have a lot of bangers in there. So one very exciting game, in my opinion, was Keeper by Double Fine. This is a new game. It's some sort of adventure game where you're playing as a lighthouse with legs. It is by the Psychonauts team. It's out October 17th. I don't really know what to say. It looks very beautiful. Looks very unique. I'm very, very keen to play this one. It's coming to Game Pass. It's actually exclusive to Xbox, which is seems like it should be a given in an Xbox showcase for an Xbox-made game, but it's not. And I'm really excited to play it. It looks super cool, and it's out, like I said, October 16th. 17th.
You were close. One day off.
It's more embarrassing to be one day off. Why did my brain do that?
You just were really feeling that 16th date. Maybe they'll bump it a day up. Who knows?
Maybe.
Okay. Another trailer that we got was for Outer Worlds 2, which like this game has been getting. This is Xbox's main game for this year, which is kind of crazy. Who would have thunk this day would ever come? This Obsidian RPG. Did you play the first Outer Worlds?
No, and I think I decided I'm not going to. I think I'm just going to try this one instead.
Yeah, I mean it's I think it's hard. I think Obsidian there's a lot of baggage with like, oh, they made Fallout New Vegas, one of the best RPGs of all time. There's and I think that was sort of to the detriment of Avowed, which came out this year in February. So I don't know. I liked Outer Worlds. I thought it was fun. It's not a game that I like remember really well. Like when people are like, what games do you really love? I'm not like, I loved Outer Worlds. Like I thought it was good. Pretty standard, I will say. So I'm interested to see like what they do with this one that's going to be different. Something that I felt like maybe this trailer was lacking a little bit was like companions, maybe. I don't know. That was something that I really enjoyed about the first game. I liked the companions that you got. So
did you watch the deep dive?
No.
Okay.
I didn't want to get too into it because I was like, I don't want to like spoil myself too. Like I don't want to get like too into it.
They did like a 20-minute deep dive where like Ben Schwartz was sniffing an Xbox for some reason.
Yeah.
That's all I saw was literally Ben Schwartz, the actor, real life, holding an Xbox Series S and sniffing it and saying, smells like Microsoft. They
do have a smell. It's the smell of hot dust. Not saying that Xboxes are dusty because people don't play them. I'm just saying dust collects in a console. If you smell your console, you will be shocked at what you smell.
I'm good. I'll let Ben Schwartz take care of that.
Yeah. But we kind of referenced it earlier. This game did get a price tag of $80.
I cannot believe that Xbox's first foray into 80 is an Obsidian RPG.
I think that is a mistake.
Yes, it is not a good idea. And I think it feels less like them being like, look, video games are an increasing value proposition, and more them being, hey, get Game Pass.
Definitely.
So, but it is coming to PS5. So if you have a PS5 only and you want to play it, got to pay $80. It's crazy. This is the second $80 game. Like Mario Kart World was a weird first $80 game. Outer Worlds 2 is a crazy second one.
I fear that it will very much. I think it's going to be. I think it's hard. Like you try and look in hindsight, like how we felt about certain things from like 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And how we might feel about these things in 5 years when games are $100. Yeah, it's just a joke.
That's not a joke.
But it's like, I think that this game being $80, and Mario Kart, I think is sort of a different scenario because it's Mario Kart and I hate the word normie, but it's like everybody buys Mario Kart. Like it's Mario Kart.
It's huge.
It's its own thing. And it was a launch title. I think that this $80 price tag will very much mar this game's like legacy, this game's release, everything about this game. I think you can see it if you scroll down and look at the YouTube comments, which is always a mistake. But if you scroll down and look at the YouTube comments on the trailer, it's just everybody's talking about the $80 price tag. And I feel like that is very much to the detriment of Obsidian, which is unfortunate because I'm sure that the people who made this game, like the developers, the artists, the voice actor, like the people who were involved in the creation of this game, they don't get to pick the price tag.
No.
So I think it's just, I worry how that will go over. And I think it will be especially sad if in like 5 years people are like, oh, remember when games were $80? Like, great, good times. So yeah, I don't know. I don't feel great about it at all, actually.
Yeah.
Feels bad.
I'm a little confused by the fact that Xbox is doing it and PlayStation isn't. Like, Ghost of Yotei could be 80 easily.
Oh, yeah.
So it's kind of weird. I feel like PlayStation's like doing this thing where they wait a year. That way they can be like, we were the heroes because we waited.
Yeah, they'll be like, remember when we only charged 70 for Ghost of Yotei? Aren't we the good guys?
But I don't know. And also the release date. Oh, October's.
Yeah. That's going to be tough, I think.
Another October release. Ninja Gaiden 4 got a release date of October 21st in a new trailer that I found really good. It was just a very exciting trailer full of a lot of really cool action, and I think it looks really fun. I think the first trailer was good, but this one really showcased that there's clearly a lot of love and action in this game. Love for action. And I'm very, very excited to play it, especially having played Ninja Gaiden 2 earlier this year. And I'm going to be playing Ninja Gaiden Ragebound in July. So I'm all in on this Ninja Gaiden train, I guess. And Ninja Gaiden 4 looks really good. This was another one. It's Xbox Game Studios. But, like, it's not.
Yeah.
And that's the same thing as, like, Marvel Tokon. I'm like, what do you mean PlayStation Studios? You didn't get paid for it. And this is Xbox Game Studios, even though it's made by Koei Tecmo and Platinum. And I'm like, this isn't Xbox Game Studios. You just paid for it, which is cool. I think it's cool for like the big guys to pay for franchises to return. You know, I think that's cool. If Ninja Gaiden was never going to come back and Xbox paid for it to come back, cool. It's just kind of strange. It's weird to say Xbox Game Studios when it's not your studio.
Yeah.
I guess PlayStation did the same thing with, oh my God, what was that game called? What was the samurai game from last year? From Team Ninja. The open world one.
Let me look it up.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Team Ninja. Open world. Samurai game. Rise of the Ronin?
Yeah. Wow, that's bad that I forgot that name. That's not a good sign for that long-term memorability of that game. But anyway, that was a PlayStation Studios game that wasn't actually PlayStation Studios. I've lost the thread. Anyway, I'm really excited for Ninja Gaiden 4. I think it looks really good.
Yeah, very exciting trailer, very bombastic.
Hey, that's my word, and I noticed that I had used it twice, and I was trying really, really hard not to use it again, and then you used it.
I hit the three-peat.
Yeah.
I hit the three-peat. There's nothing wrong with the word bombastic. It's very descriptive.
Mm-hmm.
Now imagine, if you will, walk with me. If you were a little guy in a big world, some might say you would be a Pokemon, but nay. I say that you are an Animo, which was a reveal trailer that we got at the Xbox showcase. This is sort of an open world. It's not Pal World, and it is not Pokemon, but it is both of them. This is an open world, like, creature catching game, I guess you could call it. Creature capturing, creature little guy obtainer. There are a lot of really cute little guys in this, and I have to say I was very pleased that they don't look like they copy pasted graphical elements of Pokemon onto these guys.
Yes.
I think that is kind of a standout. But yeah, this is out in 2026. You'll just have to see for yourself. There's little sheep guys. There's little otter guys. Maybe he's a beaver. I don't know. There's little wolf. Well, he's not really little. There's like wolf guys, obligatory. There's little flower guys. It's very cute, and it looks fun, and it's very colorful, which I like.
It's spelled Aniimo. Animo. It looks really cute, and I saw it and knew your life was going to change.
Yeah, I felt a shift. I saw the little guy. I actually felt it. Like, I hadn't even seen the trailer yet, and I was like, I'm sensing little guys somewhere in this world right now.
A funny surprise that we got at this showcase was the new game from My audio also, I clicked on the trailer and it played at full volume for some reason.
Oh.
Edmund McMillan's new game, Super Meat Boy 3D. Series is back. I was really surprised by this trailer. I think it looks really cool. I think Meat Boy is a really fun formula, and doing it in 3D is a really good idea, and it looks like they did a great job with this game.
It looks beautiful. Yeah. The colors are like the design. It's amazing. It looks very visually pleasing. I love his little butt. Which is not something I think you could really see when he was 2D.
No, I mean, not nearly as important in as emphasized of a way.
Like, I'm obsessed. If you pause at 18 seconds on the trailer that you linked, you will see his little tush. I also like the girl, Super Meat Girl with her little. She's pink. She's pink.
She's Bandage Girl.
Okay, well, she's pink. So, and she has a flower, so you know she's a girl. Yeah, I thought this was a really cool little like reveal. I feel like Super Meat Boy is one of those things that's like everybody loves it. Who hates Super Meat Boy? Who? Point them to me. But yeah, I thought this was a cool reveal.
I'm trying to find out right now if it's coming to Game Pass, because that's the thing about these shows is they have to be like, everything's coming to Game Pass. And now it's like a lot of things, but not everything. And I'm like, you need to be clear, please.
Well, it says Xbox PC and Xbox Cloud, so I kind of feel like
Super Meat Boy available. It's on Game Pass.
Okay, I was going to say, I feel like it makes sense that it would be on Game Pass.
If Game Rant is to be believed. But that'll be out early next year. So I'm genuinely very excited to play that one. That's kind of a shock. I didn't expect to see Meat Boy here.
Yeah. One game that some of you may have been expecting. I'm not sure that I was. Actually, I kind of was. Anyway, let me get to it. We got a teaser trailer for the Persona 4 remake, which is called Persona 4 Revival. Not a ton, just some...
That's an understatement.
Literally just some scenes to like tease what it actually was, and then we got our main character with gray hair. Yeah. I said main-haired character. Main character running in the streets of Inaba. So
no. Running on a street of Inaba.
This is all of Inaba.
Yeah, well, I know, but it is funny that they showed like three 3 seconds of gameplay, and they're like, "Hope you like that." This feels like a reactionary reveal, like because of all the leaks. Because this game leaked between episodes, due to some. Yuri Lowenthal tweeted and was like, "Hey, this game's happening and I don't get to be in it," which like I'm a little bit like, bro, calm down. Like nobody thought, we all knew he wasn't like. They recast Persona 3. Of course they're gonna recast Persona 4 too, Persona 4 as well. But
I feel like I am a little bit nervous for the recast because I don't want to spoil the game. So Johnny Young Bosch is one of my favorite voice actors. He doesn't really do that as much anymore. He was Ichigo in Bleach, which was like formative for me when I was growing up. But he also voices the main character in Persona 4, the original. And he voices Adachi in Persona 4 and Persona 4 Golden. And I feel like that's such like Adachi's character, I don't want anything about him to change. And I'm nervous about a new voice actor. But I did feel that way about Persona 3 as well, and I thought the cast did a great job. In particular, I really liked Junpei's new voice actor. So I feel like I might I'm trying to keep an open mind. I have a hard time with Persona 4. I don't like it as much as Persona 3. Not that I don't like it at all, but I just feel like Persona 3's story was a lot heavier and it felt a little more personal, whereas this one feels a little bit more like, oh, I'm moving to a new town. Oh, it's the end of the world. Like, it just is kind of like, oh, okay, I guess that's what we're doing now.
All right. I'm going to just say it. I think we are dealing with the Persona bias of whichever one you play first is what hits. Because like literally every word you just said, swap it for 4. And that's how I feel. Like Persona 4 is a deeply personal story to me because of when I played it. Yeah, definitely. I like screamed. I jumped on the couch when I was watching this, even though I knew it was coming, but just seeing it for 2 seconds, I was like, yeah. I am so curious to see how. So Persona 4, for those of you who are maybe not as locked in the online world, Persona 4 is kind of a discourse storm. There's a lot of things that happen to the characters that inspire a lot of very heated discussion. And it's pretty much every single character. So I'm excited to see what is going to change, what is going to stay the same, how certain themes will be handled. I'm excited to hear the music. Persona 4 soundtrack is incredible. That's the one thing I think I like a little bit better than Persona 3 is the Persona 4 soundtrack. Mm-hmm. Like the overworld theme. Oh my God. I'm so excited. I hope this is coming sooner than we think. But yeah, there's not even a window on this one. You know what I'm not excited for? Teddy. Get that fool off my screen. I'm excited for the recast. I'll say that. I feel like a new voice for Teddy could be really nice. It's so interesting when you go back and play the original Persona 4. There's so many huge names in it. And like their roles are big, but not like Troy Baker was Kanji. That's kind of crazy. And like we talked about Yuri Lowenthal. I hope so. I hope they well, I don't want to spoil it. We don't talk about it anymore. I hope those voice actors make an appearance. Is that what you're going to say? Because that's how I feel. Yeah, and that's how it was in Persona 3. All the voice actors who had been in the original got small roles in the reload. Certainly not all of them. But the ones that are not icky. Well, we don't have to get into it. Yeah, the ones that aren't icky. So Kelly, that's the summer showcases. Let's do numbers for those 3 presentations, okay? Okay. For PlayStation. Yeah. You give your ranking out of 10 first, and then I'll give mine. Oh, like out of 10. I thought we were doing like best of the 3 of them. No, that's PlayStation. Sorry. I would say I would say PlayStation was at like a solid 7. Wow. I'd give it a 9. But it's not because of PlayStation's games. It's because of just the pacing of the show and the variety. And also like so many of those games are coming soon. And there were even some things like we didn't talk about. Like they talked about Ninja Gaiden Ragebound, which is coming out in July. They talked about Baby Steps, which is coming out in September. Like, so if you're judging on the metric of like not the games, but the quality of the show, then I would agree with you. It would be like a 9. I guess I mean both. And I'm biased because the PlayStation show hit a lot of notes for me. Like I'm gonna play a lot of the games they showed. So yeah. But yeah, I'd give it a 9. But your 7 makes sense. So we'll give it an 8. We'll give it an 8. Official Talking Games 8. Yeah, cool 8. Yep. Let's do Xbox next. I do like a 6, I think. Yeah, I'm gonna do a 6 because it probably might have been an 8 if they like trimmed the fat a little bit, and also it ended with a really cool reveal. Like they were like this weird cinematic reveal that appeared to be like a new IP or something really interesting. Cinematic trailer. I was really excited. It was a cool one last thing, and then it was Call of Duty. And I can't even express how mad I got. I genuinely was furious. But Jess from Gilmore Girls is in it. Okay, so we'll give it a 6. Official score. Yeah. All right, Jeff's. 2. Dang, I was going to say 2 as well. That was easy. That was easy. Yeah, okay, so there was, Resident Evil 9 really, really saved that show. Yeah, but that doesn't really... From a total 0. I was going to say from a 1 or a 0. Yeah. Because like there was some stuff in there, but like even like Like they showed Mina the Hollower, which is the new Yacht Club game, and I didn't put it in here because I don't have a lot to say, but like it looks great. I'm really excited. But even that, they like had a woman from Yacht Club talk really awkwardly for like 4 minutes. And I'm like, this is bad. Just roll the trailer. Roll trailers. Make this a 30-minute show. So
yeah.
Show less titties. Sorry, man. I'm not allowed to say that, am I? I'm alled to say that. That's fine.
Yeah, I said titillating earlier, so you can
That's
just
what I
pretend
mean.
that you were
Show
saying the
less
word titillating. Titillating. Yep.
But I'd say overall, the summer show was. I'd say it was like a 6 or 7 total overall. PlayStation really carried things, which was a very weird change. It's like the old days. But Nintendo could kind of come in here and swoop and carry a lot on their back because Nintendo they have to have something. Okay, here's what I'll say. They have to show more Donkey Kong, and they could just drop a trailer on YouTube, but they need one more Donkey Kong trailer. Like they do. So I feel like a new Direct this week or next makes the most sense.
Maybe the only way you can access the new Donkey Kong trailer is if you own a Nintendo alarm clock.
Oh, well, I have 3, so you can borrow one if you want. Kelly, we were off for a while.
Yeah.
Games were played.
I
don't want to dwell too much because some of these have been out for a little while and also just... But I got some thoughts.
Yep.
Did you play anything besides the release of a new console that is of note?
I played a game that you have listed here.
Okay, the first one?
Yep.
Okay.
What else? I feel like I've played a lot, actually. Let me look at Steam really quick.
Okay. Yeah, I checked my game completion log to make sure I didn't forget anything. But I'm going to start with things you didn't play. I played Doom the Dark Ages. I played the entirety of it. Took me like 10-ish hours to beat. The game kind of started slow, but once I got into the flow, this one's level based, and I think I liked it more than Doom Eternal. I think it's actually my favorite of the 3 of these new ones, which really surprised me based on the reception I had heard. I think the super fast-paced action was very satisfying in this one. The trailers did a bad job of showcasing it because everybody was like playing slow, and they're like, "Use your shield," and I'm like, "No, that's not how you play Doom. I run around like a madman." So I ran around like a madman, and I had a great time. I was blowing up demons. I was driving. You get to ride a dragon sometimes. I had a lovely time, and I really enjoyed it. I think, especially if you have Game Pass, give this one a whirl. It is technically a prequel. The story doesn't matter. The story is bad. But if you haven't played the other ones, you don't have to. I do think that this one is my favorite of the series, and honestly, you could probably just play this one if that's something that interests you. But great time. Highly recommended. Visually stunning. Really great job. Good job, id. That's Doom. I also played a very new release, Dark Souls. I had never played Dark Souls, and I just had like a hankering, so I decided to start Dark Souls Remastered on PS4. And I played all of it. It only took me let me check. It took me 17 hours to beat, which according to like all of the metrics I've seen is very fast, but I think it's probably just I have FromSoft experience now, and I found it easy. There were a couple bosses that like I got hung up on for a minute, but I found the game pretty easy.
You didn't do like any of the side stuff, did you? Or
I did whatever I came upon. I was just playing it freely, so I did like a huge chunk of the side stuff. I didn't do the DLC because I know you can't just do the DLC by accident. You have to know what to do. But I did a bunch of random stuff that I came upon. But like, yeah, the main story, it was pretty easy. I mean, Ornstein and Smal stopped me in my tracks for like 30.
They're a big wall.
For like 30.
They're like the hardest boss in the game, I think.
Yeah, it was only like 30 minutes though. It was probably like 8 tries, something around there. So it really wasn't that bad for me. I mean, I did the Godskin duo in Elden Ring, underleveled. Like, Ornstein and Smal were not that bad. Like, because you can use logic to get Ornstein and Smal down. You cannot do that with the Godskin duo, so.
Yeah, Godskin duo, you just have to cheese them with sleep, but...
So
I hear that from me.
I had a great time with Dark Souls. I thought it was a really fun little history lesson. I was a tiny bit disappointed by the fact that I beat the final boss first try in like 40 seconds. Like it was like I walked in and just like destroyed him, and I was like, oh. And I did not grind. I did not do any side stuff to make myself over leveled. Like I just played the game, and then I just decimated him. But I did have a really good time. I'm excited to play Dark Souls 3. I am not playing Dark Souls 2. I watched a story summary, and it was funny because like he was like talking about like how interesting the story is and all the interesting thing Dark Souls 2 does. And then at the end he's like, yes, and I don't recommend this game actually at all. And all of the bosses are bad until the 80% mark. And I'm like, okay. So he validated me not wanting to play it, but the story sounded really compelling, and I'm excited to play 3.
Yeah, 2 is very quirky. They were definitely trying new things, for lack of a better way to say it nice.
So I'm going to play Dark Souls 3 next. Not probably going to take a little break, but I am enjoying this FromSoft journey, and that's the last FromSoft game I have to play, because I've played Dark Souls 1 now. I played Bloodborne. I played Sekiro. I played Elden Ring.
Demon Souls?
I have played half of Demon Souls and will not complete that game. And I'm not going to play Dark Souls 2. So Dark Souls 3 is the last real thing.
I'm so excited for you to play Dark Souls 3.
Yeah.
I think especially like with the context of, okay, it was Dark Souls 2 and then there was some time off and then Bloodborne came out. And then Dark Souls 3 came out after Bloodborne. I think you can really see like, I don't know. I just love Dark Souls 3. I don't want to get on my FromSoft platform. But I just love their design philosophy. Mm-hmm. There's just everything is so intentional, and I just feel like Dark Souls 3 does a really good job of demonstrating that. And you can see they were really in the groove. Like Dark Souls 1, great game. Dark Souls 2, okay. They really start to get in the groove with like Bloodborne and Dark Souls 3, and like obviously they've really hit their stride with Elden Ring, and I feel like I talked about the network test for Night Rain when I played it a month ago, right? On our last episode, I think.
That was like 4 months ago. That game came out a month ago.
Yeah. But yeah, I just think it's interesting to see their evolution and whatever they potentially do next. And what's that? Duskblood? What is that game called?
Yeah.
Duskbloods. I'm very interested to see how that plays. Since it does seem to be sort of a shift away from what maybe we're used to.
Yeah, but it's made by Miyazaki, so I'll play it.
Yeah, I trust his instincts, except for his affinity for poison swamps and bare feet. But that's all I'm going to say about that.
What'd you play?
I didn't want to like step over you if you wanted to. So I've also been playing a FromSoft game. I'm playing Elden Ring again. I know, everybody don't come after me. I played Night Rain and I was like, I really want to play Elden Ring. So I went back and I started a new playthrough, and I'm doing something totally different than I've ever done before, and I'm having a lot of fun. I'm using like a map guide.
It sounded like you're saying I had fun. It's so different.
It feels different. I have to like think harder, I think.
I just mean it sounds like you were saying you never have fun.
Oh, I have fun. It's different.
It's
there are certain bosses that I really struggled with in my last 2 playthroughs because I was very focused on using magic, and now I'm just bonking. And there's something really satisfying about a big bonk. But I also played another game, which I know Andrew has also played because I see it on the list. I played Claire Obscure Expedition 33. Andrew, I'm curious your thoughts about this game. You go first.
I loved it.
Yeah.
I played it.
Really incredible.
Yeah, I played all of it. I played it pretty quick. I had a great time. It was very beautiful. Fun.
Yeah, it's hard to like articulate about this game because I feel like it's such a standout in every single way. It's hard to say one thing that is like, yeah, that was great. It was almost literally all great.
Yes.
Which is so rare, I think, these days, especially for a $40 game. That was only on PC. I'm sure it was different for console, but it was only 40 gigs on PC, which is crazy. Just to give you a reference, like every Bethesda game is like 180 gigs. So just like really well optimized. The story was like incredible. I could not believe it. And I don't know. It's like it's a game that I think if you play it, it'll probably stay with you for a long time because I still think about it all the time.
I really liked it. I don't even know what to say. I kind of don't want to touch it too heavily. Just this is a game I highly recommend. It is accessible. It is cool. Mm-hmm. I think that the combat was extremely fun. The parrying mechanic is incredible. I was parrying like a madman at the end. I just really loved it. I had a great time, and it was fun to kind of blast through it. I mean, it took me a number of hours. It took me like 20 hours, but
yeah,
it was still a great time.
I think the two things I just want to call out, the music, amazing.
Oh, and my God, don't even get me started. They literally just like
found a composer on Reddit, and they were like, hey, do you want to make music for this game? And they were like, yeah. And that was it. And it's like one of the best soundtracks I've ever heard. It's crazy. And another thing I really want to call out is like the performances. Like every single person brought their A game. And I love Charlie Cox. I love Gustav. I love Ben Starr. Let's not even go there. Anyway, everybody was amazing. I love Jennifer. You know what's funny? This is an anecdote. This is not related. Never mind. I'll tell you later. I was going to say, I really love Jennifer English. She voices Mael. She was also the voice of Shadowheart in Baldur's Gate 3.
She killed it more than anybody. I think she was really the highlight of this game.
She is amazing. She's so good. But I was playing Elden Ring, and I came upon Latenna, the Albinoric woman, for those who've played. And I heard her talking, and I was like, oh, she kind of sounds like Shadowheart.
It was.
It's Jennifer English.
That's so funny.
I was like, oh my God, that's crazy. She sounds quite different. I mean, she sounds more like Mael than Shadowheart. Yeah. But anyway, it's not related. But I just wanted to throw that out there.
I love it. Before we talk about the last thing of the show, I didn't do the timeline, and I'm going to do it real quick. Is that okay? For October?
Yeah.
Okay, so in October, on October 2nd, we have Ghost of Yote, and we have Directive 8020, the new Dark Pictures game in space.
Oh my God. I forgot about that.
We have Pokemon Legends ZA on October 16th. We have Keeper, the new Double Fine game, on October 17th. We have Ninja Gaiden 4 on October 21st. We have Outer Worlds 2 on October 29th. We have the Dragon Quest 1 and 2 HD remake on October 30th. We have Mina the Hollower on October 31st. And that is not to talk about the fact that Final Fantasy Tactics is September 30th and Silent Hill F is September 25th. I'm so scared of October.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah. I'm so scared.
That is a lot.
So I just wanted to bring that up real quick because I needed to talk about October. So.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I feel like I don't ever want to hope a game is going to be bad. But I hope some of these games are like, okay, I can wait on this.
It's the funny thing because like Outer Worlds 2 was super compelling to me. But now I'm like, I don't know if I have time for that. And that's free for me. I don't even have to pay for that.
Yeah.
Well, we might be playing even more games in October than we realize if they're going to be releasing games for our brand new, both of us own, a Nintendo Switch 2. No, that's the Mario Kart 8 theme, sorry. We both got a Switch 2.
We switched to getting a Switch 2.
Kelly's way of getting it was more boring than me because I just handed it to her. But I do want to share real quick that I went to a Best Buy at midnight the night before it came out. I got there at 11:50. There were two lines. One was long, and the other one wrapped around the back of the store. And I was like, oh no. Gosh. The one that wrapped around the back was people without pre-orders trying to get the extras. I went in the pre-order line. I ended up being at the store till 1:15. It took a really long time. I was like not that far back, and I thought I had a pre-order, so it'd be quick. But they were going real slow. But it was fun. I talked to a couple people in line, talked about the Switch 2, got excited. It was kind of a fun way to do it. I got my Switch 2, got my Pro Controller, got my Tulin amiibo, and got my Sidon amiibo. And I had a great time, brought it home. I had to wait behind a train for 15 minutes because I went the wrong way.
Oh, no.
Yeah. And then I turned it on, transferred over data, started downloading Mario Kart World, and then had to go to sleep. So I didn't get to play it on day one. Or like night one, I should say. But I played so much of it the next day.
Yeah.
I have no regrets about purchasing this console, and I'm very excited for the future. Do think this launch was not very good. I love Mario Kart World. I think it's a great Mario Kart. I can talk about more in a second, but I'm sitting here and I'm like, where's my Donkey Kong?
Yeah, I agree. I think they definitely needed something more compelling. Mario Kart is just Mario Kart. I guess it's 9 now, right?
9, yeah, 10 if you count the mobile game.
I just feel it's Mario Kart. It's not a game that you can sit down and play for hours and hours and hours. It's not like Donkey Kong. It's not like Zelda. It's not like Pokemon. Like there's not a hook.
No.
You play a couple races and you're like, man, I'm tired of getting hit with blue shells. I'm out of here. And I get the open world thing is fun, but it's like there's kind of not anything to do. Like you're just driving around collecting things. It doesn't really feel satisfying to me.
No, I think the open world's kind of bad. I mean, not bad. It's just, it's fun for a bit, but the fact that there's no like
pointless.
The fact that there's no tracking of what you've done.
Yeah.
Like there's no map. I mean, there's a map, but it's just a blank map. Like it doesn't really tell you anything.
It's like a mini map. Yeah.
Exactly.
I think too, I will say to Nintendo's credit, the process of it's very plug and play. You open your Switch, you plug it in, it's ready to go. Transferring your data is very easy
and fast,
especially if you have one of those little SD cards, which I did not have the right kind. It's fine. But yeah, it was super fast. It took like 10 minutes. I mean, it was crazy. I was like, oh, I guess my Switch 2 is ready now. Like it was just, whoa. But yeah, I just don't think that it was a compelling enough launch. It's more just like the security of having it. Like, okay, I have a Switch 2 now. So now when the next Fire Emblem game comes out, when the next Pokemon game comes out, when the next Zelda game comes out, like I'll be ready.
Yeah.
Because I didn't get my original Switch until like, I think a year after it came out. So I didn't get to play Breath of the Wild until later, when everybody had already played it. So.
I mean, I think Mario Kart is incredible. Like it's visually stunning. The music is so good, and I think the open world's really cool for like the Grand Prix because it ties like the levels together by driving between them, and I think that's a really cool way to use it. And I think it is an incredible Mario Kart, truly.
Yeah.
I just wish Donkey Kong and it had swapped because I think if I had already had Donkey Kong and then this game came out, I would have been like, wow. But it's right now I find myself being like, I want more. I want more. I want like a single player game to really sink my teeth into.
Yeah, I agree.
All that being said, I have no regrets. I don't think I made any mistake at all, partially because Donkey Kong is out in no time. It's out in a couple weeks. Yeah. So like, it's fine. I think the price was fair, especially because like if you get the bundle, Mario Kart was $50, and I think that's perfectly fair for what it is. And I think I'll be playing Mario Kart for several years. That's the thing about it. It's like it's hard to like sink your teeth into for hours, like you said. But I will put a lot of hours into this over the course of the next 8 years.
Yeah,
I will be playing this game for 8 years. Not a lot of games can say that, but I will be playing this game for several years. So I'll give it full credit there. Ouch! I hit my knee.
Oh my gosh. Okay, that was scary. I was yawning. Got me in the yawn.
Sorry.
I got scared.
No, I slammed my knee on my table by accident. I also got Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour. I did it. I spent the $10. And for like a couple hours, I was like, this is really good. For the next like 5 hours or so, it was like, well, this is a lot of quizzes. I don't think it's worth paying for. Honestly,
I took you to school, man.
If you buy the Switch 2, turn your Joy-Con on its side and you can use it like a mouse in the home menu. You're fine. You'll be like, whoa, that's cool.
There's so many vehicles to click with the Switch 2. You've got the controller. You've got a touchscreen. You can use it as a mouse. It's like, wow.
Oh, I'll also give a review of the Pro controller real quick. Oh my god, it's amazing. I mean, obviously it's a premium product. It costs a lot. But another thing, like I'm going to be using this thing for 8 years. I'm not bothered by that. The control sticks are the best I've ever felt on a controller. They're so good. The rest of the controller feels very similar to the Switch 1 Pro controller, which is a compliment. And also, I haven't even charged it yet since launch. I've been using it a lot, and I have not charged it. So
that's good.
It has a crazy battery life, and it has the programmable back buttons. There's a back button on each arm, whatever you want to call it. What do you call that? The part you hold. Handle? Yeah. There's 2 programmable buttons on the back, and you can program them per game to be whichever button you think is appropriate, and it works really nicely, and I very much appreciate it. It was very cool. Yeah, I think the thing about Switch 2 is I think it's a great console. I genuinely am like, wow, they did a great job here. The snapping the controllers on and off feels amazing. It feels very premium. The plastic they used is really nice. It feels soft. I think they did a great job. And I think I'm going to be playing this thing like crazy. And I'm so excited to play Donkey Kong. I'm so excited to play Pokemon Legends. I'm so excited to play whatever they're going to announce for the rest of this year and next year. But it feels kind of like a party console right now. Like the most fun I've had with it is bringing it to other people and just playing Mario Kart. Which is great. But I do wish I had more to do by myself besides play Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour, which I did all of, and I don't recommend.
Yeah. You know what's funny, Andrew? Speaking of playing with other people, a party console, I accidentally started a like the screen share feature.
Oh, yeah.
I accidentally started that with you. You were not.
Oh.
I was like, oh, what's this? Play together? So I clicked on it.
It showed my name even though I wasn't on.
And it looked like a Discord call, and I was like, oh, I gotta get out of here.
I have used it.
I'm surprised.
It works.
I'm surprised it didn't have like a call history like, oh, this person tried to call you when you were off the console kind of thing. Not voicemail, but like a notification of some sort.
No, it just notifies you if you're on. I will say I used it with a couple of friends just like to test it, and it works really well. My Switch 2 is nowhere near me. It's like on my TV stand, which I sit far away from, and I talked at regular volume, and I sounded great apparently, and so did my friend who was also very far from his Switch. And I heard no like feedback or anything. And the thing about the screen share is like, yeah, it only runs at like 10 frames per second, which sounds horrible, right? But it's an itty bitty window at the bottom while you're playing another game. It doesn't, like when they showcased it in trailers, it looked bad because you were watching everything. But when you're actually playing a game in your big screen, you don't notice how slow it is. It's kind of cool just to see what your friends are doing at the same time. So yeah, I'll give them credit. The game chat feature is really smooth. And obviously like everybody's like, oh, other consoles have been doing this. But Nintendo did it really nicely. Like it's super easy. You just tap that little C button. It goes, makes that little sound. And then you can just hop on a game chat. It's super fast and works really well. So I want to give them credit. They did a good job with it. And I think it's integrated really nicely into the console. And I think I'll be using, like, I don't really chat with friends while I'm gaming often, but I feel like the simplicity of this one makes me way more inclined to do it.
Yeah, I would agree.
What I will say about Nintendo Switch 2 is I'm excited to play it more. And also, it is the fastest selling game console of all time so far.
Yeah.
It sold 3.5 million in 4 days, which is the fastest console launch ever. So
yeah, that's pretty wild.
So it's gonna succeed no matter how much boycott talk there was.
Yeah, I'm excited for more. You know that like gif of Kylo Ren where he's like, more.
That's you.
That's me right now.
The first direct they have now that this thing is out is gonna like, I think, shatter the crust of the earth.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be pretty significant.
So now we just wait for that.
Yes.
So this was a long one.
Yeah.
I think we knew it would be. There was a lot. Like we said, we're gonna take some time, figure out what makes sense, get some major life changes out of the way, and then figure out what our new schedule is gonna look like. Obviously, you guys will be made aware when we start uploading. Whenever we start uploading again, it's going to explain. If anything crazy major happens, hopefully we're able to kind of sit down and do like an episode in that interim. But I don't want to promise any timeline, you know. We're going to figure it out. and we'll be back with you ASAP. But I'm excited to talk more games.
Yes, me too. So just to give a little bit of context, and I feel like I've talked about it, I'm moving to a new place. So that is what is taking up the bulk of my time. So yeah, like Andrew said, we'll kind of play it by ear. But we will be back to talk games with Kelly and Andrew. Wow. Well, thanks so much for listening, everybody.
I shouldn't be doing this because the theme will actually be rolling. So maybe I shouldn't sing it because then it'll.
Maybe you could harmonize with it. I don't know.
Yeah, but I can't hear it right now, so it won't work.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Sorry, audience.
Well, thanks everybody for listening. I hope you have a great day, a great week, a great month. I hope you have a great year, and we'll see you soon. Bye.